Hello everyone, welcome to this new video of Gelli Plate for Dummies. Already the 9th video. I'm so pleased that that you like it and that there are so many people who are watching them. And I hope you enjoyed the last one about the magazine transfers. If you want to see a video about laser prints transfers, I made one and it's on my YouTube channel a little bit earlier. It's the number 85 on my YouTube channel, and I will make another one, but today I was really impatient to show you another technique, and for that I took out my bigger Gelli plate, and as you can see there is a lot of paint down from last time, and I'm not going to clean that. I'm just going to pull it off with another layer of paint, and for that I will just put on 2 colors, a little bit of green, a little bit of white, and it will make me a nice background. You will see. Never clean your Gelli plate when there is so much yummy texture on there that you can use for backgrounds. Okay, paper on. And this will go aside for a while. And in the meantime, I can explain you the technique that I will present to you today. So this over there. And today we're going to use soft pastels and crayons. These are Stabilo, Carbotalo, but any pastel crayons will do, and maybe a little bit of charcoal. We are going to do a transfer with that. You can draw your drawing right away, or you can draw it on top of another drawing that you made before. So this is a drawing that I made a while ago. It doesn't matter if you take the same colors or not. This is, well, it's not fixated, so you see the color is still on it, but I'm going to make my transfer. I decided to make it in blue and yeah, several shades of blue. In fact, it was a drawing that I made at a performance of a man who was dancing with a mask on, and I really liked that, the fact that he had a mask on. So it was a drawing class, in fact, and it was very, very complicated to draw a person that was moving all the time. So the difficult part was to catch the movement, and that's what I'm going to try to do now. It's just a reference, the picture that the drawing that I made, and I might not follow it completely. There. So anything that has pigments like powder will do. So pastel crayons, soft pastels, charcoal. Let's try a little bit of charcoal here on the bottom. what to do else, because this is just going to be the base of our jelly print. Will I add, well, a little bit of light green to brighten this up a little bit. There. And now don't blow this powder away, or don't tilt your paper to get rid of it. Just let it be on the paper. You can work with your fingers if you like, but just don't get rid of the excess of powder that's on there. Now I'm going to put this apart. This and this, and take my jelly plate again, and we'll see if my paint came off nicely. It was not really long enough. As you all know, this needs to stay on for at least half an hour, and I think it was like 10 minutes, so I suppose I will have a little bit of problems, but that's okay. So then I can explain to you again why this is happening. So I even have my paper that is tearing, and I don't mind that on background papers. It can give a nice effect. But so the paper is tearing because the paint was still wet. I had to let it dry for a little bit more time, like half an hour more. But this I really like. I'm just going to glue this a little bit back on again, but I love this background. And of course I will have to take this paper off. So this is not because I put on too much paint. It's because I didn't leave it to dry long enough. It can happen when you put on too much paint, because when you put on a lot of paint, the drying time will be much increased, and so you're more risking to have this kind of problems. But as you can see, most of the paint came off, and I have a really pretty background, and I will certainly do something with it. So my plane is pretty clean. It's not perfect, but we don't mind. Then I'm going to take my drawing and not put my drawing on the jelly plate, but put the jelly plate on the drawing, because when I'm going to, if I was going to lift up the paper and turn it around, the powder would drop. So we don't want that. I'm just going to lay my jelly plate on top of the drawing. And then once that is done, I can turn it over and give it a good rub. And then I take the paper off, and here is my transfer. So in the beginning I thought, well, if I'm going to put on some paint here now, if I'm going to roll over that, the pigment will move. Well, no, that's not true. I will show you. You can going to use those two colors again. They're just lying around and they're matching. Now first rolling the light colors. And here the light color. You see, I'm rolling over my charcoal and it doesn't make my white paint gray or black. So I want this this kind of print behind. I'm not going to roll it that way. And I'm going to put on a paper, just regular copy paper. There we go. Give it a good rub. And now to be able to get everything off and not have the problem that I had here, although I love this, I will leave this on for at least 30 minutes. Now I did the drawing on regular drawing paper, but if you want to use magazine paper to draw on, to copy if you like for your own use, it is possible. You can even do it with a photograph. Your photograph will be a little bit ruined because you will understand. But for example, if I want to draw with my pastel crayons on top of here, that won't work. You see, on glossy paper it cannot hold the pigment, so you can sand the paper or the photograph a little bit. There we go. And then you can draw your drawing over it and it will hold your pigment. Now, let's have a look at our print here. A little trick to feel if the print is ready to be pulled. If it's still feeling, now this is a certain temperature, and if this is the same, you can say that it's ready to be pulled. If this feels cooler than your table, it might need a little bit more waiting. So let's see. This has been half an hour, more than half an hour. More than half an hour, but not an hour. There we go. I have to pull hard, so that's always a good sign. That means that the waiting time was okay. And when the paper does that too. So here we have the print of my drawing, and the good thing about this is it is still a monoprint, but you can do this drawing over and over again. You just wipe or blow most of the pigments off, and then you can start over with another color or whatever you like, and then you can make a whole series of prints with this soft pastel method. Now let's try another one, only with charcoal. This is regular charcoal, and this is a drawing I made a couple of years ago. So I'm not worried about ruining my drawing. It was just an exercise, so I'm not going to copy it exactly either. I'm just going to make a quick sketch. I might, well, for the eye, well, no, let's make it just a stylized drawing. Nothing special. And what is nice with charcoal, that you can use your fingers. But don't use them too much if you want on the places where you really like the transfer to be really black. So it's just for the shadows that I'm using my fingers, but then for the hard lines I don't. See that this I want it to be like this. Okay, now let's put the Gelli Plate on that. There you go. Flip it around. Give it a good rub. And here is my transfer. If I take an eraser, a kneadable eraser, or whatever I have this lying around, you can with a kneadable eraser, it's really easy to do. You can take most of the charcoal off and start over again. So I can do a lot of things on top of this. Sorry. I can use stencils, I can use different colors. Let me show you. I thought a little bit about the composition and the colors, and I decided to make it a monochrome print. So I'm only going to use black and white. And why not put on a little owl on his shoulder? So I would like the owl to be almost black, but not completely. So I'm going to mix, can you see? There. I'm going to mix my black and my white paint. Like this. And fill this in. You can do this with a little sponge or with a small brayer. There we go. Now I'm going to let this dry while I clean my stencil, and then we're going to do the next stage. I have an idea, in fact, for not losing any time while this dries, and I still have the paint that's on my small Gelli Plate here. I'm going to paint a little bit directly on the Gelli Plate, like this. To make his hair a little bit more interesting. There we go. What can I do next? I can draw. Maybe I can use some Posca markers. Okay, here are my Posca markers. Maybe I can draw this eye. And give the man a little smile, just a little one. And then I might give him a there. And then with the gray Posca. What would this man wear as a symbol? I don't know. There we go, very light. And to end, I'm going to make this a little bit more obvious. And maybe his there we go. It's still not dry because when I look at this, even though it's the copy of this one, on this drawing, I have the feeling that his chin is too long. So I'm going to try to wipe his chin. So it's also to show you that you can still change everything. There you go. Make sure that you dry it. Take a little paper. This is dry before you draw on it again. And I'm going to make his chin a little bit smaller. There we go. And I might even try to completely change the drawing and make it more a little bit as a girl. Since his chin is smaller now, I can really make his hair or her hair fall down. And well, now you can already hesitate. Is it a girl? Is it a boy? We don't know. Okay. Now I think the owl is pretty much dry, but not the rest of the hair. 5 minutes, I think. Okay, this should be pretty dry. And now I'm going to work with stencils. First I'm going to start with some white. And since it's becoming more of a feminine print, I'm going to take this stencil. Let me check if you can see it. Okay. And then take my little sponge, dab it into the white paint, and do this just without this part because I don't want it to go on what I've drawn underneath. But the rest can be filled in. I never think about what the end result is going to be when I make this kind of prints. I always work it out while I'm working on it. and sometimes it's really surprising that the idea that you had in the beginning is barely visible in your end result. This one proves it when you see that I started with this drawing and what it starts to become. There we go. So this is my cheap paint. If you want more pigmented look, you can take other paint. There we go. And since this is white, of course, I'm going to pull the print with another color. Okay. There we go. Nice. Going to clean my stencil and let this dry. Now this is dry, and now I'm going to work with this stencil. I love this stencil. I use it a lot. Let me put it like this. I only want to use it on these parts. Okay, now can you see what I'm doing? Okay, now I will mix my paint, and I would like this to be more white than black or gray, but I still want a little bit of nuance. I don't know how you call that. So I'm going to once in a while dab my sponge into the black, so it will become sort of a mix of gray and white. I can see through the stencil where my drawing is, so I will be mindful not to put too much paint on the drawing. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about how I'm going to pull this print. I can use a layer of colored. I have to pay attention not to put it on the bird, although it doesn't matter if I put it on the bird. I can put it on the bird because the bird is black and will still be visible in front of what I'm doing now. So I can go over the bird with this layer. What I don't want is to put it on the person. We still don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but I think it's a girl. We will see. Now, yes, I was thinking about the color of the background. I can decide it to be, for example, red by putting a red layer of paint to pull the print, or I can use acrylic binder and print it on fantasy paper. Why not? I like that idea. So I think I'm going to do that. Okay, let's see what we have. There we go. There we go. Let this dry. Now, while this was drying, I had this wonderful idea. Well, that's what I think. For the background. You remember this print that I made to pull off the rests to clean my Gelli Plate, and it teared, and but I still loved the textures on there. But I was a little bit worried about this, and so I've glued this part on again, and I've put a layer of acrylic binder on the whole page to make it a little bit stronger. And I'm still not sure about this part. I'm hoping it will stay intact and it won't tear again, but I will use this as a background. And since I'm worried about this part, I'm going to put it here somewhere, so I will have to put it on like this. And you see the paper is really damaged. I hope this will work. So let's go to make the final layer of this print. I'm going to put on my acrylic binder, a nice even coat all over. So, what do you think? Is it a girl or is it a boy? What's it gonna be? It's like when you're pregnant. Okay. And now I'm going to put this on. Try to put it on the same spot. Oops. That's not easy. There, I decide this will be it. It's not perfectly well placed, but well, once it's down, it's down. You have to accept the consequences. So I will give this a good rub. Try to get the air bubbles out, but it's not easy with this damaged paper. And then cross my fingers that this part won't tear when I will pull the print. I'm gonna leave this for 2 hours to be sure that it's completely dry and that it's picking up all the layers. I've been waiting several hours to pull this print. I'm really excited to start and hoping that everything will be okay, especially here in the area where the paper teared the first time. Going slowly, pulling off. There is still some paint on the plate, but the print seems to be okay. Okay, I have to pull real hard here. Oh, here it's tearing a little bit. Where is that? Doesn't matter. Oh yes, it's just in the area where the bird is. Let me start from this side now. So maybe I can reach the bird on this side without pulling the paint off more. And then I can fill, oh, here is the, here I need to pay attention. Then I can fill the gap in the black of the bird later with a marker. So until now everything is fine. This is the piece of paper that was fragile. Here comes the bird. And here comes the print. Okay. Turn it the right size. I'm pretty pleased with this, although I think it's not finished. Let me take the initial drawing. This was the initial drawing, and this was what me and the Gelli Plate made of it. So of course I'm going to repair this owl, and then I probably will make some other. Maybe I can leave that, and this too, why not? I'm just going to draw that eye back in, and I will think about what I can do to make this a little bit better. But I'm pretty pleased with this pull. Okay, now I've took out my pen pastels because I think this area looks a little bit weird, and so I'm going to try to fill this up a little bit. And then I might take this color, who is slightly more bluish, to fill up these areas that look a little bit dark to me. There we go, that looks better. Now I still want it to be kind of monochrome. It's just that the background added the green and the blue, but still the print is still black and white. Maybe I can add the eyes of the owl, the beak there, and maybe a white shadow on the left. There you go. This, and maybe give his hair, because I think it's still a he, a little bit of highlights. I don't want to lose too much of the aspect of the jelly print, but I'm just gonna fill this white area. I have a little bit darker turquoise to fill this up. Okay. And then I think I will doodle a little bit over here with my black marker around those stencil areas. That gives it a little more depth. Sometimes you're regretting doing too much, so I advise you to always take a picture when you have doubts about something, or to take a photocopy and to work on the photocopy first before you work on the original print. Because although this is the beginning of this work was a existing drawing, and I can take the drawing as a starting point again, the same drawing, but it will never be the same print. But that can be interesting too, to make several prints with the same starting point. Now I think I'm not going to doodle these with black, but I might do it with white if I can have my okay. Just to add, can you see what I'm doing? To add a little bit of interest in this part. Now at this stage I've taken a picture, because what I'm going to do now, I'm really not sure if it's the right thing to do. I don't like his hair, so I went through my box with jelly prints, and I'm going to try to do some collage on his hair. Okay, let's do this. What do I risk? Not much. Just to ruin this jelly print, but oh, there are worse things in life, and at least I have tried, because I am not completely happy with it. Okay. One more there. This way. Once you're starting, you never know where it's going to end. Now I would like to have this rounded piece. Is it something like this? Yeah. Yeah. Now this piece. Just playing, fooling around with my collage, my jelly print. It's so relaxing. If you're bored, just speed up the video. I don't mind. I will never know. Okay. Now, I'm such a fan of mixed media, so now I've took my Neo colors. They're water soluble because it's the Neo color number 2. And I'll try. Yeah, it's still laying on my Gelli Plate, so that's why. You don't see much because I didn't activate it yet. There we go. So once you started to change a lot of things, don't stop until you're happy with the result. There we go. Cut this off. Now, to finish this print, I think I will punch out a little reminder of the texture in the hair to go here. What color would I take? This. Let's try another one, but it looks okay. Maybe I can put some of those here. Yeah, and those are discreeter than the yellow one, so that works out well. One more to put here. And well, I think this is looking more of what I like. Simply, I think this will be the last step. Maybe I will make the eye a little bit bigger and put some white inside. There. I have to let this dry to put the white around. Okay. And now I think it looks a little bit more like an Indian. And this is where I'm going to stop. So this was a pretty long video. I didn't know at all where it went, but I'm pretty happy with the result, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next. Bye.